Every now and then, you come across somebody whose life's purpose is to bless others, pure and out of a generous heart. Joining the dialogue tonight is Jeanne Albaugh, founder and executive director of Showering Love, an outreach that provides showers for our homeless brothers and sisters. This is Dialogue with Dozie.
Hey, and welcome. This is the Dialogue with Dozie. And tonight, listen, we're going right to it. We have a very, very, very special guest. Her name is Jeanne Albaugh, and she's, what a heart she is. I'm going to bring on our guest host, Kate V. will be here later. We're anticipating. But Minister Timothy Griffin is coming on now. Come on, Doc. And he's going to introduce her, and she's just going to come right on. Go ahead, Tim. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. It's always good to be with you, Pastor Dozie, man, on Dialogue with Dozie, man. And listen, hey, tonight, it's a plum-pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege to introduce to this national audience tonight my friend, my sister, my cohort in this work to help lift all of humanity. Listen, she reminds me of the woman at the well in John chapter number 4, who told all that would listen, come see a man. So if you're feeling like you lost your way, she got you. Sick and tired of being sick and tired, she got you. Broke, busted, and disgusted, she got you. Homeless, lost your children, drug abuse, she got you. Listen, we're not wasting any time tonight. Let's get straight to it. Put your seatbelt on and get ready to ride Grace. For the very first time on Dialogue with Dozie, we have Miss Jeanne Albaugh. Miss J, what say you?
Oh, thank you. What a beautiful introduction. Thank you so much for having me.
Man, this man trying to take my show from me, Jeanne. You don't let him do it. Awesome introduction to an awesome lady. Amen. Thank you, sir. Jeanne, we're going to get right with it. We're going to ask you to go in depth in a second, but for right now, just tell us a little bit about Showers by Grace. Just take a minute and just introduce us to what it is, and we're going to ask you to talk much more about it in just a second.
Well, I love to talk about Grace. Grace is a 52-foot city bus that we converted into mobile showers. It has 2 showers on it. They're complete showers, one being ADA compliant. We're the first in the world to be fully self-contained. What does that mean? That means we don't have to hook up to anything. We just get to pull up, open up, and welcome up our guest. And we call them our guest. Showering Love is 5 years old. And we're excited that we're building our second mobile sanitation bus because the needs are growing and Grace can't handle it by herself. So our next bus, because we've all been showered by Grace, and our next bus will be called Faith because we all need a little faith, don't we?
Yes. yes, we do.
Jeanne, thanks to Minister Griff. This is okay. This has been a long time coming, us getting together, and he worked it out. By the way, y'all, I'm dressed today because that's how he told me to dress. So it's a Dozie with Dialogue with Dozie takeover tonight. But that's all right. So listen, you have an amazing story. My wife and I got a chance to meet you the other day, and it was a long time coming. Tim is trying to hook us up forever and a day. Tell us about your story because it'll kind of feed into the work that you do in Grace and Faith and those kinds of things.
Thank you. Yes, no problem. I always had a heart for working with the homeless. I mean, from my earliest age, I was always involved in the homeless. And as I got older, after I got married, I was still involved with the homeless, never ever thinking what was going to happen. So I was a normal kid, overachiever, married wealthy. I'm a professional barrel racer by trade. I became ninth in the world. And 2 weeks later, I came back and I slipped and fell. I broke my back long way at a fast food restaurant. Of course, I was prescribed pain pills, and it took away the physical pain. But for the first time, it took away the emotional pain. See, I hadn't shared with anyone that from my earliest memories, I had been sexually molested. At the age of 9, I watched my father shoot himself in the head. And at the age of 15, I was brutally raped by a family member. Now, my mother knew about that, but she kind of just swept it under the carpet because that's what they kind of did back then. So, what does a kid do with all that? I didn't have any tools. My mother didn't take me to a psychiatrist because I seemed to be functioning well. I was a straight A student. I was Miss Gymnastics. I seemed to excel at whatever I did. But see, that was me trying to prove my worth because I felt so worthless and so empty inside. I did go on to meet, every goal I ever said I met. Like I said, I married a wealthy man, got the big house, the big car. And I thought if I could just get money, money was going to solve all my problems. And it really was almost to my demise. Once I was prescribed the pain pills, my life spiraled out of control unbelievably. My family tried to help me. They sent me to, I can't even remember how many, but I'm going to say about 15 detoxes. I was Baker acted. I went to treatment centers, long-term, short-term, and eventually my family gave up. And the husband I had at the time said to me, Jeannie, I can't save you anymore, but I've got to save our sons. With that, he divorced me. And then I lost custody of my children. And I felt like I had nothing to live for. See, I still had that big hole inside me. It was as if someone shot me in the stomach. And I had this big hole that I was trying to fill it with anything I could. How does a kid survive that? She becomes the queen of the masquerade. And that's really what I was. From the outside, everyone thought I had the world in the palm of my hands. But what they didn't know is that I was dying inside. Got prescribed the pain pills. Life spiraled out of control until I ended up homeless. And it just continued to get worse. It started off living in people's, couches. And then I slept in my car until the car got stolen or taken. And then eventually I was on the streets. And I ended up under a bridge in Davie, holding a sign and begging for change. I gave up hope. I tried to hang myself. I slit my wrist several times. I deliberately overdosed. I got released from the hospital, and I went right out and did it again and was brought back to the hospital later that evening in the early mornings. See, I didn't want to live anymore. I had nothing to live for. Everything I loved was gone. And I was dead inside. And see, my heart had gotten so hardened. And I'd become so shut down and angry with the world that even God couldn't get there because I wouldn't let him in. I blamed God. I don't know if anybody can relate to me, but I blamed God. I was like, if you loved me, how could you leave me under a bridge? How could you allow all this to happen to me? What I know is that God cried first as each thing happened to me. He cried with me. I didn't learn that until after I got out. So I was in and out of jail. I didn't get to see my boys for 10 years. Every Mother's Day, I tried to commit suicide. Every Mother's Day. I wondered if they thought about me. Did they even remember what I looked like? Did they care? In my head, it would say, no, obviously they don't love you. They didn't come looking for you. They were trying to survive themselves. Just as much as, I was going through this, but my family and my kids were going through it with me, and they were trying to survive the best they could. And so my one son said to me, Mom, I didn't leave because I didn't love you. It was because I did love you. I couldn't watch you destroy yourself. Here was a mom that was a good mom. I was a good mom, And then the accident happened. Life spiraled out of control. And I lost my kids. I lost my will to live. And I hated God. How did I get out? I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Can you keep a secret? My son, one of my sons, wrote a letter and delivered it sent it to a family member. That family member delivered that letter to me. I'll share a little piece of what that letter said. It said, Mom, there's no hopes of us ever having a relationship. I don't even know where to begin with you. It's been so long. But let me tell you about your 4 sons. Told me that my oldest son was a firefighter, sergeant at the time. He was in the Army. My 3rd son was going to college to be a firefighter, and my 4th son was doing well in middle school. He said, Mom, I don't know if you know it, but you're a grandmother of 2 grandsons. Now, I knew about one grandson, but I didn't know about the other one. And I'd only seen, because I would have brief moments of sobriety, but it never lasted long. And then he ended that letter with saying, Mom, there's no hopes of us ever having a relationship, but I have to be honest with you. I'm tired of looking for your name in the obituaries, and I just wish it would be over. That letter got through. In that letter, I knew they must have loved me. They had been looking for me. He had stated in the letter, he knew I had been in and out of jail. So I knew they were looking for me. And within a few weeks, I started my journey to where I am today. Wasn't easy, but it's doable. And I think that's my mission with Showering Love. So first I got my life together, and I think there's some before and after pictures of me from when I was at the bridge, until where I was when I started Grace. When I was probably about 25, I had went to upstate New York. I was in Teen Challenge, and I went to help hand out food for Feeding America. And there was a tractor trailer there. And I vividly remember God telling me to take this tractor trailer and to turn it in to mobile showers. He told me to put showers on one side, to put washers and dryers on the other, to put a pantry in front, to make sure I had an ice maker, a place to cook. And he wanted me to take the tractor trailer to every bridge. I am to find and go to every bridge. It's still my goal. I first had to get myself cleaned up, get my life in order. Once I did that, I knew that I needed to bring the vision that God had given me to life. How did that happen? Well, of course, I had no money. But one thing I tried to do was I tried to still my life's mission is to thank everyone who either stopped at that bridge to help me or tried to help me in my journey before I got here. And I wanted to find this one family, husband and wife. They used to bring me food. They would actually come and take me home. They would take me to meetings and give me clothes, let me shower. And eventually I went back out and they said, we can't keep bringing you home. But I never forgot the seeds they planted in me. So I went on a mission to find them. I went to find them because I wanted to thank them and to tell them that all their hard work and efforts wasn't for nothing. Though I didn't get it then, I got it. So I did find them, took a little bit of work. And in our conversation, I told them what I wanted to do, that I wanted to bring mobile showers for the homeless to life. Well, God knows better than we do, because that gentleman was the chief plumber for Parkland and for the Hard Rock, which I don't know if you're in this state, but the Hard Rock's a big, big building. So, of course, he knew how to plumb it. And so I found the bus, and I had no money. And his name was Rowdy Gifford. He unfortunately passed away from COVID. He was one of the first. We just kind of honored him on July 16th. It had been a year since his pass, but without him, Showering Love would never have come to fruition. He went with me. I found a bus, and he went down with me, and he took his measurements and this and that. And he looked at me in his overalls and his cowboy hat, and he said, "Kid, this is your bus." Went home that night and thought, where am I going to get this money? Am I going to ask my fiance to take out a credit card? How am I going to get this money? We have no money. And again, very clearly and very vividly, I heard God say to me, 2020. I thought, what are you saying, God? He said,
If you would, Jeanne, let me stop you right there. I want to ask Tim to interject. I know he had a question, comment to the story thus far. Go ahead, Tim.
Jeanne, what a powerful story. What a redemption story. Where you basically was trash, and you took trash and made a trophy out of it. Let me ask you this. How was it during this journey that you were able to keep your past failures from allowing you to forfeit your future?
Well, God's a forgiving God. And that was the one thing I had to work on. I had to work on a lot of my regrets and my guilt and my shame. And then, I had to make a lot of amends to a lot of people, and especially my children. And I was lucky that I had a program that helped me clean up the inside with God's help. Because until I cleaned up the inside, there was no way, one, I would stay sober, and two, that I would be free from the bondages that were holding me. I don't hate the people or the perpetrators that hurt me. I have forgiven my parents, especially my dad. And what I do know is that they did the best they could. And the men, that's my parents. And for the gentlemen who abused me, they were sick, just as I was sick. And what I learned that is, if I wanted to be forgiven, I needed to give forgiveness. And it's a two-way street. And by doing that, I became free. What happened in the past now is just a story. It has no power over who I am today anymore because I'm at peace with it. I hope that answered your question.
Wow.
You,
Powerful.
yeah, you started by telling us how, with the first truck and everything. And well, I mean, this is just an awesome story. And I just want to say, again, bless you, Bertim, because I was just more than overwhelmed when I went over on Davie Boulevard to the church back on May the 7th and saw the operation. I had absolutely no idea that when I met this wonderful woman who was behind it, that there would be such a compelling story of grace and redemption behind it. And your story, and you're so humble to be such a great servant. And I just bless God for that. Bless it. Tell us a little bit about the process of getting started down here in Broward and Dade County. What was that first process like?
Well, it wasn't easy because, like I said, we're the first fully self-contained mobile sanitation shower. We're ADA compliant. God just kind of led the way, and it took us 11 months to build it because there was no blueprints. And how do you put plumbing on a bus? But we figured it out, and then I just started reaching out to other organizations and churches that also provided resources or services for people who are experiencing homelessness, and we started partnering. And sharing love is about building relationships and friendships. And our motto is we come as friends to make a friend, to leave with new friends. So the community is our heartbeat. We work with, the churches, the soup kitchens. We go to Miami under the bridges. And now we know where they are. We know where they live. So we literally meet them where they are. We take the bus. We have a schedule, and they know we're going to be there. And we take the bus, and they get to come and get a shower. Like I said, the bus is ADA compliant. We have a handicap lift on it. So because we're always inclusive and never exclusive to anyone, all are welcome. We are the only stand we take. We don't take a political or religious stand because we come from love. We stand in love, we give from love, and we receive from love. And we help our brothers and sisters who are less fortunate, who are in a dark place right now.
Amen. Amen. Timmy, I know you got something. Go ahead.
Yes, Jeannie, what a compelling story. And what do you say tonight to the single mom that's watching you now? She's working the graveyard shift. She feels like she's caught betwixt a rock and a hard place. She feels like she doesn't know where her next meal is come from. She feels like, maybe her next step is homelessness. What would you share with that single mom that's watching you tonight on the broadcast?
One, I would say to her, don't ever give up. Always get up. Reach out to services, ask for help. Please don't ever, let our pride get in the way of asking for help. You can always call Showering Love. I don't know if our number's on the screen, and we will connect you to the resources. We get many, many women who are fleeing domestic violence. And, we'll do whatever we can to help somebody get off the streets and to get them into either shelter, housing, detox, halfway houses, where we can get them safe if they want it. If they want it, we're there for them. We will go all out. My team, my outreach team, we won't stop until we get them where they're going to be safe. Lean on God. Ask God to protect you, to lead you, and to guide you. He's got his arms around you.
I heard you say the other day that you had a lot of hurdles to jump as far as getting permits and so forth. Just tell us a little bit about that struggle and how God has redeemed that.
Oh, God has, sharing love doesn't belong to me. It belongs to God. I am just honored that he's entrusted it into me. And he's really opened all the doors. Here's the thing. We rarely have to pull a permit because we partner with churches and he's just like, every time I think we've come up to a hurdle, the door opens. And I just totally trust him, and I trust that he'll provide whatever we need and wherever we're supposed to be. And I mean, we're 4 years old. We've been on the streets 4 years. We're actually 5 years old, but we've been providing services for 4 years. You know what? We have always had enough. We've always had enough. The community is our heartbeat, and God will provide. Stay humble. Stay on your knees. Stay connected to God, and reach out for help. None of us can do these by ourselves when we're going through hard times, tragedy. What I do know is that I'm going to say the numbers are very high, probably in the 90%, that if you're homeless, there's been a tragedy. There's been a disruption, something derailed you. And it's not one thing, because one thing we can get back up. It's usually a multitude of, I always say, like big waves. They keep coming in and you try to get up and it knocks you back down. And especially, like you said, if you're a mom with children trying to keep a job. We have people living in a car in Walmart. She has 3 kids. I allow her to come to where I park the bus, which I can't tell her no. I've got to help her keep her clean so she can keep her job.
Wow.
Because she's going to end up homeless if she doesn't.
Wow. Listen, we cannot have a compelling, an outstanding talent like Tim Griffith on, and not let him. Griff, go ahead, and we're going to take the halftime break after this next. I know you have a comment or question. Go ahead.
Jeannie, how many locations currently is Grace serving in right now? Can you tell us about those particular locations that Grace may be serving in? And I got a 2-part question. The other part of that question is what's next for you? What's next for the future of you and Grace and Faith?
I guess only God knows that. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. But we have a bus schedule. Our website. There is a bus schedule where we're at every day now. Starting in the next 2 weeks, Grace she'll be booked 6 days a week. I got to give my team 1 day off a week. We get Sundays off. And so that's where Faith has come in, because right now she's at capacity for the days and the places she could serve, unless we go to an evening service or providers. But we're in a different place every day. Mondays we're at Jubilee. Tuesdays we're at Sunset Presbyterian Church. Thursdays we're at Ruth's Ministry. And on Saturdays we're in Pompano. Wednesdays we're going to start hopefully being at Community Court. And on Fridays we're going to be in Miami at the main library. The 3rd Sunday of every month we are in Miami in Overtown under the bridge. There is about 75 to 100 people that live under a bridge on cardboard. And they don't get a shower unless I come. They don't. And for me, I don't know what's up. I don't know. You know what? I just keep day to day taking my next steps, asking God what's my next, to guide me, lead me. I do have something else that will come after Faith, and we do know that. So it will be a fully self-contained laundry facility. And it's going to be called Showering Love's Loads of Love. And that's so if they have some stuff, yeah, they can get clothes, and it's their blankets I'm concerned about. And, some people have some special things like that they're holding on to. There's a special whatever. So I want to, offer that service to them. And the nice thing about having the laundry facility is we'll have a little bit longer to talk to them. That was the one thing I think that I didn't expect with the showers, is that we don't have as long to speak with them as I'd like, because each shower is only 10 minutes. And so when they come up on the bus, they're greeted. I know you guys took a tour of the bus. They get a new shirt, new socks, new underwear, basketball shorts, leggings for the ladies, bras for the ladies. They get 10 minutes. It only gives us a few minutes on the bus to connect with them. And we do, I am there. They can come speak with me about resources. But I think with the laundry facility, we'll have a little longer because washer's a half hour, dryer's a half hour. But we know that's coming.
Well, listen, gonna quote unquote pay some homage here, pay some bills. Just stick by, if you would, please, Jeannie. We want everybody to know that Dialogue with Dozie is brought to you every Monday night at 8 o'clock. It's supposed to go off at 9 o'clock. When we get a good host, good co-host, and get a good guest like you, sometimes we run over a minute. We try not to take the advantage of it. But Dialogue with Dozie is brought to you by GoGigaCreations.com. That's GoGigaCreations.com. Guys, you all had a chance to meet the producer. That's our oldest child. Her team is awesome. They have expanded, they have consolidated, and they do services of web pages, anything, all of your virtual needs. They take care of it. You cannot find a better produced show than this. Amen. They produce our Church Without Walls. Several groups have come on because of what we've done here on Monday nights. That's GoGigaCreations.com. Thank you to Toya B and her fine team. Listen, it's the halfway mark, and you know what that means. Well, it's a little over the halfway mark, but who cares? Normally we do this series. It's Are You Serious? Well, we don't say it like we say, Are you serious? Or it's a shout out, or it's a dang dog. And tonight, let me just say this, Mitch McConnell, you were in the Dialogue's crosshairs, but somebody was praying for you because we were coming at you tonight. But on this kind of show, we can't do that. So we have converted tonight. We're doing it on the fly. So work with us. We had a scripted Are You Serious? But we've changed it. Tonight's going to be a shout out. Tonight is a shout out. And thank you, Pastor, for joining us. Pastor Catherine Hope Smith is with us from our ministry. Good seeing you back up. Tonight is a shout out. And tonight is a shout out to every heart, to every soul, every spirit who puts others above them. Tonight is a shout out to every first responder, to every nurse, every person in the medical field who are literally putting their lives on the line as this outbreak of COVID is starting again. Tonight is a shout out to people like Jeanne. She's a gem in the rough, but there are others out there like her. You know what? I try not to bring too much of because I understand there are some people who don't have a faith who watch this show, but I'm a preacher, so I'm gonna be faithful to my calling. Jesus said, if you want to know who is greatest amongst you, and answering the question from one of the disciples, he says, he who is greatest amongst you will be your servant. And in our conversation with Jeannie, and Tim had the advantage of knowing this before me, Jeannie and others like her have the true spirit of servanthood. They realize their purpose on this earth is to be a blessing to somebody else. And listen, she's not blessing the professionals, the millionaires on Wall Street, or the politicians in Washington, D.C. Yes, they can be blessed by the services that Showers by Grace provides, but she's blessing what we talked about last Sunday in church, the last, the least, and the left out. Those who get ignored every day, those whom we pass by every day. My shout out is to you, Jeannie, and everybody like you who serves like you do to be a blessing to somebody who just needs a helping hand. I said yesterday in the message, when you stop and give money to somebody on the side of the street who's begging at a corner, it transcends, your outreach transcends the dollar, the $5, whatever you give them, it transcends that. What they actually feel is an arm of love. And that's what people like you, Jeanne, you extend arms of love. You dedicated your lives to arms of love. I'm gonna finish with this. Dr. King had a sermon that was called The Knock at Midnight. And in The Knock at Midnight, he talked about servants and people who gave and who served. He talked particularly about the Good Samaritan. And he said the Good Samaritan asked this question. He said, it's not what will happen to me, because it was a dangerous place where he stopped. In fact, the priest and the Levite passed by thinking about their own safety. But the Samaritan got off of his animal and tended to the wounded person, because he transformed the questions from not what will happen to me if I stop and help this man, but what will happen to him if I don't stop and help him. So the nice shout out from the Dialogue with Dozie show is to people like you, Jeanne, and all the people who put their lives on the line, police officers, firemen, first responders, nurses, doctors, everybody who looks out for others first and have the true spirit of servanthood. That's a nice shout out, Dialogue with Dozie. Bless you. Tim, we're going to ask you if you have another question, and we're moving on. Forgive if I got a little preacherly. Jeanne's going to come to our ministry, and she's going to preach over into the next month. What our outstanding month is going to be. Go ahead, Tim.
Hey man, what a great shout out! That was awesome, man. You almost made me cry.
Me too.
Hey, but listen, Miss J, listen, I love your mission statement for your nonprofit regarding dignity and providing hope and restoration. But share with the listening audience, our national audience tonight, what is it that you mean when you say we're not enabling anyone?
Because we're not a handout, we're a hand up. We're here to help them take the next steps if they want to. You know, I wish I was better prepared for this question, but one thing there's a lot of lessons that go on with the bus. And when I say enabling them, it means I love them too much to stay stuck. I love them too much to have or talk with disrespect. And I teach them to ask for what you need. Say what you mean what you say, and don't say it mean. Just ask for what you need. And sometimes it's hard for them. But like I said, I love them too much to leave them there. And I'll give you a little scope. Girl called me today. I put her in detox on Thursday, and she called me and she said, I can't get to the hospital. Can't get over to the hospital where they're gonna, get me. This was into a program, so she's already come out of detox. And this is what I said to her, because I believe in giving tough love. I said, if there was free dope at that hospital, you would get there. Get there. Guess what? She got there.
Wow.
There. So I don't run around. That's not my job. That's not what I do. But I will encourage them. I will, teach them what's the proper way to how to ask. It's okay. It's okay to be needy. It's never okay to be greedy. It's never. There's no entitlement issues here, right? There's none. But I do want to say one thing to your listeners, because I told your listeners a lot of bad things that happen, and I want to leave them with something really good. So I told you I didn't have my kids for 10 years. Well, 4 years ago, I got married, and my 4 sons were right there standing up for me. I have them all back in my life. I have 13 grandbabies, a new one on the way, and I have a life beyond my wildest dreams. When I was homeless and I felt hopeless, I never could have imagined the life I have today. No, I didn't get back the life I had before. I got a life of purpose. My life is here, and it's about giving. Giving. It's not about receiving. I had it all backwards my whole life. It was about getting. My life's about giving. And I want to thank everyone who has given, who has supported, if liked our page, shared our page. I want to thank you. And thank you for whatever you're doing and however you do it if you're helping someone less fortunate.
Jeanne, let me ask you, Jeanne, how about you have Faith is coming on. Faith is her new bus, and you saw Grace. That was the bus that you just saw. We're hoping to have the video on before we get off. Yes, thanks for showing these comments, because for whatever reason I'm not able to get them. Bless you, Pastor Smith, for continuously chiming in. We're looking for you, Fern. Listen, what is it like for you to get, when you get a new bus and you have an opportunity for more sites? What is the response when you go scouting out new sites to park your bus? Do you ever get people to say, no, we don't want that group, quote unquote, around us? Or what is it normally like?
Never. I have never heard a no. Ever. Now, I know, remember, I go where they are, so they already are there. So any community that's around them is really grateful to me to come and help clean them up. So I have not had that problem at all. I've always been more than welcomed to come.
Tim?
Jeannie, I'm just sitting here basically going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I like what you said earlier when you said the experience and when they come, they're your guests. They're your guests. They're not offshoots. They're not somebody to be looked over or to be looked around, but they're your guests. Can you explain for our national audience tonight, what is the experience like when one of your guests come? What services are there? I know I partner with you with voters registration and getting everybody registered to vote and get them that card. And they're so happy to be able to register to vote. But could you just explain to the audience when they come, what that experience like? I know when you go to Walt Disney World, it's an experience, but there's an experience when you come to Showering of Love. Talk to us, Jen.
I will. Well, first, I want to say thank you for coming out there on Saturdays in the sun and it's hot, and offering them the opportunity to have a voice. Because when you vote, you have a voice. And for the most part, when you're homeless, you feel voiceless. So I want to thank you for that. I always say, the bus was a city bus. So from transportation to transformations, that's what happens. You see them come up on the bus. They're kind of hunched over. They're dirty. They don't want to make eye contact. They feel, you could see the shame. They don't want to look. They get their new shirt, their pants, their underwear, their socks. If they need new shoes, we give them new shoes. We only give out new items. We do not give out gently used stuff. And I know it's okay. I've chosen not to do that because I want them to know that they're worthy of new stuff. There's nothing like getting a shower, putting on new clothes, getting a haircut because we have a barber, and getting their bellies full. So they go into the shower, they get 10 minutes of privacy. When you're homeless, you're always in the eyes of the public, in somebody. So they get to go in and have some privacy. You go into the bathroom, there's subliminal messages on the walls that say, don't ever give up. You matter. You matter. And they go in, they take their shower, they get the shave. And when they open that door, it's as if it's like it opens the smile on their face. They're standing a little taller. They got a little more confidence. And we say the last thing we do, it's the cherry on top, is we offer them perfume or cologne. And they always like it. They always like, oh, the girls like that, or, the guys like it. And for a few minutes, they're giggling and they're laughing and they're free. They're not thinking about their situation. And if we can give them a few minutes of freedom, of course, I want it to be more. But it's nice to see them free and they feel better. And I don't know about you, but when I go and get my hair done and get a new outfit, I got a little more pep in my step, don't you? Come on,
Yes.
got a little more confidence.
Yes.
You too. And they walk off that bus and they can't thank us enough. They cannot thank us enough. And that makes it all worthwhile. We've seen many. We've been able to connect them with their families, get them back home. I've seen them go back to college. I've seen them get married, have babies. They stay in contact with us, and to know that we were just a little part of that, helping them when they were going through something. Because we say experiencing homelessness. Why? Because homeless means that's just where you are. I experienced homelessness. My team that I hired from the streets, all experience. It was an experience. And I say, I went from being very, very wealthy to being poverty to coming in the middle and having peace and purpose.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. What? Oh my God, this has just been so great. So Jenny, listen, with the few minutes that we have left, why don't you take a few moments right now and just pray for that young man. Pray for that gentleman that's struggling. He's right on the edge, right on the brink of almost giving up. That young lady, she's right there. She's listening to this story. And also, after you finish praying, I want you to tell us how, because I'm quite sure after viewing this broadcast tonight, there got to be some funders that want to connect with you in a major way, and talk to us on how funders can connect with your nonprofit to continue this work that you're doing and spreading love to the people that need it the most. Come on, pray for us right now.
Dear God, we just ask you to wrap your arms around anyone who's considering suicide. God, put a hedge of protection around them. Lead them and guide them. Put somebody in their path. Disrupt them taking their life. Help that mother that's struggling, that doesn't know how she's going to feed her kids. Help that person that's just about to be evicted. Maybe that person has just lost their job. Maybe they've lost their spouse. God, you are the great I am. We entrust all our problems and situations, and we know that you have the answers. But here it is, God. Here it is, community. We are God's hands and feet. Come together. What I want to say is, for that person who feels like giving up, please pick up the phone. Pick up the phone. Call the pastors. Call me. Call the helpline. Call 211. If you have to, call 911. Don't give up, because on the other side, we're just all going through something. Remember, God carried his cross. Remember that? We're all carrying our cross. But when we get to the other side, it's going to be beautiful and bright. And life isn't always going to be like this. It's not going to be dark. You are a warrior for God. Rise up. Reach out for help. Ask for help. There are people out here that want to help you. We're all here to help you. God, we just ask you to be in the midst of each one of these situations. We ask for guidance. We ask for your protection. We thank you. We thank you for all your provisions. God, keep providing for the food pantries and open up more shelters. Help these moms, help these women of domestic violence, for the women and the men who are being raped. God, let us come together as a community of strength and of hope and of brotherly love. See, I just learned earlier that you can't have brother without others. It's in the word. So for anyone who would consider supporting Showering Love, there's many ways you can support us. You can get involved. You can share our page. You can make a monetary donation. There is a link on our PayPal. You can give me a call. Come out and volunteer. We say lives are changed, the Showering Love experience. Whether you're serving or being served, I guarantee you are going to leave with a new perspective. What I like to say, a new pair of glasses. A new pair of glasses. I want to thank you so much for having me. Please, like I said, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Pray for us. Pray for us. And thank you for everyone who has supported us this far. We couldn't do this without you. You know, you get to see my face, but there are many, many, many faces to Showering Love and behind Showering Love, helping us to continue to provide mobile showers, restore dignity and hope.
What a blessing. What a blessing. What a blessing.
Okay. Jeanne, before you go off, we want you to just stick around 1 second. This is Kim. This is my brother. He's out of Jacksonville. He's our show's co-host. Kim, that's Tim Griff. He's been doing he coming from one of our jobs, I think. They're doing an awesome job tonight with co-hosting us, guest hosting. Just want to introduce the two of you all, the three of you all to each other. And then if you got a second, want to just show a 3-minute video of our walkthrough. Go ahead, Mom.
Of course.
How y'all doing? Pleasure, y'all. Thank y'all for joining us tonight. I'm late. I have boxing. I coach boxing on Monday night, so I'm a little late coming in, and I missed half the show. I wish I would have been here, but I will, review the show. And thank y'all for being here.
Well, thank you for being here.
Listen, we want to show this video that it was your brother, Jeanne. I didn't realize that. When Tim first got me over to the location over on Davie Boulevard at the church, I toured the bus, and we want to share that with our viewers. We were going to show that video. We had to do it next week, but our producer worked all show long to make it. We had some difficulties to make it accessible, so we'll run over a minute or two because our viewers need to see this video of just what you do. We've heard from your heart, and it's an awesome heart. Let's see what she does, you all.
Friends and family, I'm considering you that. Listen, I want you to see what's behind me. This is called Showers by Grace. It is a husband and wife team, and they have a combined team with them. And what they do is that they go around, kind of want to show you all of it. They go around and park in strategic areas, and what they do, they have 2 showers on this bus that was donated by the city. By the bus company, and what they do is that they go around, park strategic locations. There's a brother over here who has free sandwiches, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. This brother here is a barber. I didn't realize that when I first pulled up. He's a barber who I'm trying to maneuver this camera. I'm doing a poor job at it. He cuts hair. These are that our homeless population can be blessed here in the Fort Lauderdale area. And I'm actually going to go on the bus in just a second. But listen, I just want you to know there's still some good-hearted people in this world today that are doing good things for people. God bless them. And listen, guess what? They're going to be on Dialogue with Dozie on not this coming Monday night. Let's see, what are my dates? 24th, on what should be the 17th. On March the 17th, May the 17th, they're going to be on Dialogue with Dozie, and we're going to have the person who started this project and her husband. I just talked with him. They're going to be on with us, and they're going to talk about the great work that they do. Hey, Tony. Hey, Mary. The great work they do for Fort Lauderdale's, Broward County's homeless population. We're going to get this bus moved around into some other communities. It's mobile. It goes from place to place. Listen, I'm out, but I just wanted to share with you. We'll be talking more about this. It'll be on Dialogue with Dozie on May the 17th. This right here, Showers by Grace. 2 showers are on this bus, and what they do is go and allow people to take showers who are from the homeless population. We love them. We love what you guys are doing. God bless.
I apologize. It's the wrong video. We had such a hard time getting that through. The other video actually toured the bus, and I'm going to get that on next week's show. I don't care what the show is. We're going to get that video on next week, and want to correct, that was not a donation. It was at a reduced price. I know you all want to hear me talk that whole time. That was the wrong video. We sincerely apologize for that, but we'll get that on next week. We're going to let you go, Jeannie. Anything you would like to say, Kim? You or Griff, any closing questions before we get out of here? We'll let her go.
I'm going to say one thing. The next time you're in your car and you see somebody holding a sign, begging for change, I'm going to ask you to look into their eyes, see me, and see what's possible for them. Because everything is possible, because God says everything is possible. I want to thank everyone for investing in me, the ones who did, because you changed my life. Because you gave, I'm a life that was saved. I want to thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Jeannie, it was also just so great to have you on the show. I can't wait to see you the rest of this week. And the Bible talks about being more than a conqueror. And you're one of those ones when the Bible talks about being more than a conqueror. You are more than a conqueror. You're a blessing not only to this community, not only to our county, not only to our country, but you're a blessing to all that cross your path. And may you live a long time to continue to lift humanity just a little bit higher. God bless you, and we love you.
Thank you. I love all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, sister.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Thank
Everyone,
you,
come out. Come out. Jump on the bus and be a part of us.
All right. Amen. Amen. We love you. Well, Tim and Kim, I got Tim and I got Kim. Tim has just been awesome tonight. He works with he does several times a week. He's on her sites and he does a voter registration. We're going to talk about that just before he leaves. But he's done an awesome job tonight, and he's going to be back on in a few weeks. He has he's a leader par excellence, and he has put together, shared me the vision, my wife and I both, because she's going to entrust me to hang out in his arms, in his care in the next few weeks. We're doing a all-male trip. Don't let him tell you about it. We're going to do the whole show. We're going to dedicate, and we're going to put he's going to bring all the guys on and share his vision. And we'll have a golf semi-pro on. And but for right now, Tim, thank you for the night. And tell us about what you're doing as Toya, as Madam Producer is going to show some of the slides that you have left, and tell us what you do beyond this, so that we want to share your greatness with our audience. Is there okay? So Tim, you can tell us what you're doing over there, please.
I'm not sure if he froze up or not. Tim, can you hear us? Bro, Tim, can you hear us? Check your mic, see if it's muted. We're not hearing you. I think look like he froze up.
Yeah, I think he's frozen. Okay, well, Minister Griff does he does voter registration, and there's a special emphasis that he has now on teens. And you see the information right there. He's off. He's going to sign back on him. Let him tell you this himself. He goes. He has a mobile. He goes from location to location, registering individuals to vote. And like I say, right now there is this emphasis that he has on teens. Now, not only is he a blessing in the social sector, but he's also he models for all of us entrepreneurship. He's an entrepreneur par excellence. And when he gets back on, as we're signing off, we're going to ask him to kind of share with us what he does, his entrepreneurship gifts and talents, and what services he provides on the private side. On the social side, he's a community organizer. You know, the most popular community organizer was elected president in 2008, the person of Barack Obama. And that's what Minister Tim Griffin does. He's an outstanding preacher, teacher of the gospel, but he's also, he's an entrepreneur. And I think one of the things that we need to learn, particularly in our community, is that we need to be entrepreneurs. Can you see me decked down tonight? I was saving that for next week, but he said, man, we've been trying to get Jeanne on for so long. So come on tonight and be dressed. So I follow suit. You see, he's decked out. So any event that he does not able to come on, you got any comments you want to make, Kim, before we get ready to get out of here? Before we do it, are you able to do it as I see it?
I don't. I just, I take my hat off to her for being what she is to the homeless. And like I said, I missed most of the show because I was at boxing tonight. But I take my hat off to her. Thank her for coming on and sharing her story. Homeless is a problem everywhere. Every city has homeless people in it. And I just take my hat off to her for what she's doing to help the homeless. Our situation here, we had a homeless camp here in town, and they actually moved them all and put them in a big open white warehouse like area, so at least they have shelter now. And they're getting 2 hots and a cot, so I think they're getting 3, but I know they're getting 2 hots and a cot. So they're doing better. But I find from my years of being on the streets, a lot of homeless people don't want help. They want to stay out there on the streets because they don't like being supervised. They rather be able to do their own thing, and that's just what most of them are used to, I guess, just being out there on their own. So just bless them, and just hope that hope that they all end up like her, how she ended up one day.
Several years ago, and I shared this in a sermon last week. Several years ago, before our son, who was our youngest to leave home, the last to leave home, one day we were at a McDonald's line, and a young man who lives in our area, who lives in one of the group homes, he's not homeless, but he has mental illness issues, knocked on the window of our van at the time, and it scared me, and I reacted, just one step of being crazy about it. And he was asking for a handout, and I vehemently refused him out of my anger. And my son said to me, he said, "Dad, you don't know, that just might be the angel who you're doing that, who you're frustrated with." And it changed my entire perspective. I have to rise above my human frustrations and act as the spiritual being that I am. And so now I carry money around it, if I come in those situations, to be able to be a blessing. But as I see it, if there's ever such thing as an angel being in our presence, tonight we saw one. We saw a body by the name of Jeanne Albaugh, but what we saw was the Spirit of God moving through her, because her ministry reaches out to the last, the least, and the left out. Our ministry is called A Church Without Walls, and we modeled it after what we saw done in Tampa with Paula and Randy White, and they really reached out to the community. And that's the model for our ministry, and we're trying to get there. But what Jeanne and her husband and others, the brothers and others are doing, they are a church without walls. They are a constant blessing to humanity. And as I see it, that's what the Master put us here to do. And if there's ever any reason that this show ever came on the air, or if there's ever any reason when in Jacksonville, Kim and I announced that we're going to do it another year at least, this was the reason, to bring angels like Jeanne Albaugh and her family and her volunteers and her family for what they do, on to expose them to the world and to challenge us to be angels like them. That's what I see tonight. Listen, I don't know. We were trying to get, Griff had some slides from his personal business. He'll be back on in a few weeks. We're doing the golf show, and when he comes back on, we'll actually we'll talk about it, and we'll give him a chance to make his pitch for it at that time. But for right now, we just are so grateful to have him here. And Kim, thank you for fighting through, man. I know you had a lot going on tonight. Thank you for being here. Next week's Dialogue with Dozie, we are going to deal with critical race theory. That is, that's a big deal in our society right now, and we're going to talk about it here on the Dialogue. The critical race theory. Dr. John Allen Newman is going to be with us. We're trying to get someone from the Southern Baptist Convention who has an opposing view of it, and we're asking all of you to be here next week, Dialogue with Dozie, as we look at critical race theory. Hey man, any closing words?
Hey man, I'm wish everybody well. Have a great week. I'm gonna go in here and crash, bro. I'm kind of beat, so I just wish everybody well. Have a blessed week. Thank y'all for joining in. Look forward to this next week.
I feel you. That man gonna retire one day. He's been retired since 2010, I think, from GSO. He's gonna really retire one day. Dialogue with Dozie. Hey, we love you. KB, love you, man. Big love. God bless. We'll see you next week right here, 8 to 9, somewhere around there. We talk about critical race theory. Have a blessed week. Listen, this virus is ramping back up. Don't listen to that clown show coming out of Tallahassee. Put your mask on, wear gloves, wash your hands, be safe. I'm going to say it again. Be safe. He can't bring you back. We love you.